Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Mr. Lum, and today we will be talking about how to set up your domain and your web hosting. Now, the first thing we're going to be talking about today is what is domain and what is web hosting. Now, a domain is basically like an address for your website. It's the www.somethingsomething.com, .net, .org that you have. You have to register these and then have some web hosting along with it. Now, web hosting, to really make it simple, is just a little space on the web where you can store your files. And these files are all the different things when put together will become your website. And so the domain will point to the files on the web and we'll show it. So as you can see, domain and web hosting, they're complementary. They're peanut butter jelly. They're Sonny and Cher. And although you can purchase them separately, most people always purchase them together. Alright. Now, how often do you pay for each of these things? Well, for the domain, it's an annual thing that you have to review annually, or you can purchase it multiple years at a time, up to 10 years in some places. As for web hosting, you can pay for it monthly, but what most people will do is do it a year or 2 years at a time in order to get some discounts in exchange for, a long-term commitment. Alright, now what do you get? There's a lot of different things that you get, but let's just talk about, say, for somebody like GoDaddy. GoDaddy, as you know, is probably one of the most popular domain and web hosting companies out there. They spend a ridiculous amount of money marketing, and they have people like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Danica Patrick in their commercials. They've even been in Super Bowl commercials, amazingly. Well, let's talk about what you get when you register a domain and web hosting through them. Well, the domain is very simple enough. It's just an address. The web hosting also, aside from the space that you also get access to certain different things like email forwarding, maybe setting up backups, and installing things like WordPress or Joomla, setting up databases and all of that. More than likely, you probably will not touch that at all. That's what you call the stuff in the control panel. And that's stuff for like me, people like me to touch. If you were to log in, you would be completely lost. So more than likely, you won't be touching that at all. But when you log in, you do have access to all those different tools. Now, finally, the one thing that you do get as a customer is access to their support. And as you can see, and in the black bar at the top, there is 24/7 support. All you have to do is call that phone number. They'll probably try to validate your identity. You probably have to say your ID or your PIN number, and then you get through. You may have to wait something like 30 minutes or something, but again, when you purchase your domain and web hosting, well, it's gonna cover the support as well. And aside from phone support, you can also send them messages. I believe they have a live chat, and you can also go through Twitter. So that is what your fees will cover for them. Now, in terms of, is this enough? You have to think about that because GoDaddy isn't a premium web hosting service. They're what you would call entry level or budget level. Now, that's not to say they're bad. And actually, I'm recommending it because I've been using them for several years, and I've been using 5 different companies, and they're not perfect, but all we need is reliable. That's what we hire these people for. We want reliability. We don't need perfection. Of course, if we find perfection, we'll immediately migrate over there. But we have Very decent support, very decent web hosting at a very cheap, inexpensive price. And that's what GoDaddy offers you and I. Now, with that said, if you don't really know what you need, you should probably consult with someone about this before you even start. Um, this is really for basic websites. Something like maybe you get, I don't know, a couple hundred visits a month and you don't have any serious requirements such as hosting a video or large scale e-commerce. In that case, you want to be looking at different solutions, but again, for your basic entry-level websites, this is fine. Alright, so shall we get started then? Okay, so we'll be doing two things. We'll be looking at registering a domain, and then we'll be picking up web hosting along with it. So follow along. First thing you want to do, go to GoDaddy.com, and then you want to enter a domain name here. They also serve a bunch of individual items if you need them up here, but we're gonna do the full process from scratch. So, and that starts with getting a domain name or address or URL for your future website. So let's just punch in something. Now keep in mind, when we're punching something in, it's not always going to be available. This is because when addresses or domains are scooped up, sometimes they're never let go. Sometimes someone owns them forever. So as time goes on, there will be less and less available. But fortunately for us, dogsurfinglesson.com is available. Now here's some other considerations out there. They also let you register a dogsurfinglesson.us, dogsurfinglesson.surf.org, a premium doglessons.com. As you can see, somebody owns this, but basically they'd be willing to part with it for that amount. Dogsurfinglesson.us. There are basically a lot of different suffixes that we can pick up for our website. Now .com is always going to be the most important one. It stands for commerce, by the way. But in case you're worried that somebody is going to pick up the .org or the .net and might confuse people, then for safety reasons, you should pick up the .org or .net for your company. You don't have to use them. You just have to pick it up so that nobody else can. And again, it's not like it's expensive. We're looking at $12.99 every year. That's pennies. So we want dogsurfinglesson.com, so we're going to select it, and then we're going to click continue to cart. Now next, we're going to be looking at all the additional services that they will offer. So the first one is protect my personal information. And what this means is that when you register a domain, you have to enter your contact information. It's like, well, it's exactly it. It's you're registering it, so you have to input your registrant information. And that includes your name, your address, contact number, and an email address. These are required. These are absolutely necessary to do. Now, for those of you that are skeptical or scared or worried or suspicious of that, what you can always do is you can have them basically provide privacy protection, so that instead of putting your information, they'll put their information as a third party, and in case of any inquiries for that domain, they'll be passed and forwarded to you. So you can think of this as like a P.O. box. When you don't want people to know your actual business or home address, you provide a P.O. box. Or if you're registering a corporation, you don't want to know your business information, so you hire a registered agent. That's exactly what this does. So it's highly recommended, and plus it only costs what, $8 a domain or $15 a domain. Now to just preview what I mean by it masks your information, this is what exactly it does. If you hover over this tooltip, your info without privacy shows John Smith, actual email, actual address, actual phone number. With privacy, it shows the person providing the proxy for you, third party. Alright, now step 2 would be getting our web hosting with it. Now, GoDaddy also offers a website builder at $1 a month. However, I believe we don't need that, as you will probably be hiring someone to take care of it for you. Again, you probably do not have the time to be messing around with a website builder, learning how to use it, and also maintaining it in the future. Although the price is quite attractive. So we're just going to pick up web hosting. They have several different plans here, but they're essentially the same quality. The main difference here is that you have different limits. So for example, this economy one, you get only one website. Whereas the deluxe one, you can have many websites. So let's just pick up deluxe for now. You can always change it in the future, or when your business, if your business grows, your business needs for your website grows, you can always upgrade to something else or migrate to something else. So don't feel like this is something you have to research for like 5 hours before you can make a decision. Just pick that up. Alright, finally the third one is email. Now email, if you already have it taken care of by something else like Gmail, you might want to just stick with Gmail. Because if you do get email with this, you will have to require support. But of course you can always contact GoDaddy for that. But for now, we're going to just add it just for fun. As you can see, you get 5 gigabytes of space and email, calendar, and contacts, yada yada yada. So after we've chosen that, we'll continue to cart. Now right now we'll see a preview of our order. We have our domain registration. You can choose how many years you want it for. You can see we chose make our domain private at $8 a year. And we have email for a year and hosting for a year. Linux. You don't have to wonder what Linux and Windows means, but Linux is preferred. Just FYI. Alright, and apparently they have bookkeeping as well. Why you would have your web host service provide bookkeeping for you, I don't know. But I'm not going to do that. Alright, so now that we've confirmed the order, we're going to proceed to checkout. And we're a new customer, so we're going to click continue under new customer, and you're going to punch in your name, all your information, your billing information. And under account information, this is what you're going to be using to log in, and also to confirm your identity when you call support. So please write these things down, okay? So address to communicate with them, a username to log in, and a password to log in, and a PIN, which will be used to verify your identity. And finally, your payment information. Now there are several more steps involved in the purchasing process, but I'm going to stop right here because all it is after this is you're going to be confirming your order and going over directions which they will list for you, and also they'll be sending you some introductory emails as well. So that will be all self-explanatory. What you need to do is basically fill this out, click continue until you reach the end, step 4. And then they'll be emailing you and sending you your login information. What you want to do is that you want to either keep it, save it in your email inbox, print it out, or if you have a web designer, web company taking care of it for you, please present those details to them and they will happily take care of it all for you. Alright, so again, I'm Mr. Lum. teaching you how to set up your domain and web hosting. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this.